Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Randy Green and thank you for stopping by. What are some of the mistakes people make, the most common mistakes? What are the 5 potholes on the way to distress? Most people recognize what stress is but rarely consider what it is not. Stress is the byproduct of decisions we make, even when we're not aware we're making them. When we encounter stress, what we really want to do is just plain not have it, period. But deciding that after the fact is a little like closing the barn door in your mind after all the little stress horses have gotten out. In the process of deciding not to have stress, the 5 most common mistakes people make are: number 1, drilling for whys. A popular belief is that coming to terms with your stress by delving into the past and uncovering why you feel that way will instigate a cathartic reaction away from stress. This is a common pattern for many types of change work, due in large part to the intersect of the medical model and psychoanalysis and other psychoanalysis-related models. It is popularly believed that gaining insight into the etiology of the problem will lead to relief from that problem. But this rarely is the case. How many of you would like to lose a few pounds? Raise your hands. Who would like to lose weight? Okay? Have you ever been successful in doing so by thinking about why you weigh more than you would like to? If delicious desserts are the culprit, for example, how often has thinking directly about them caused you to not have them and lose weight? Alas, we have pothole number 1. Avoid why questions. Okay, the second of the 5 most common mistakes people make when trying to eliminate stress, I call caging the beast. This is about managing something you really don't want to be true of you in the first place. A popular example of this is anger management. Anybody ever heard of anger management? All right. Anger management is very common these days. The paradox, of course, is that once something is present, you cannot not have it, right? So given this premise, in order to manage anger, what must be there first? Think about it. Of course, anger. Nothing could be more true where stress is concerned. If your idea of dissing stress is to manage it so, say, it doesn't get any worse, it still must be what? It must be present, of course. And so your every decision, large and small, as you navigate your day, is in relation to the degree of stress that may or may not be there. Alas, pothole number 2. Manage to avoid managing stress. Okay, moving right along here. The third of the 5 most common mistakes people make when trying to eliminate stress, I call misery loves company. A popular and very human choice that is frequently made when people experience some form of discomfort is to seek out others who are also feeling that way so they can share the burden. In 1993, when IBM faced those massive layoffs, thousands of people in Dutchess County across the region were laid off from work. It was a horrible situation. But scores of individuals sought out others who were in the same boat, so to speak, so that they could engage in kind of a group venting. In this way, people could feel better about the fact that they were not alone. They were not the only ones feeling miserable. However, not everyone did that. Those who could rise above the admittedly justifiable crisis mode that was prevalent in the area sought out people who possessed skills and ideas they would need to move on in their lives. Skills that either they possessed through the work they were doing prior to the layoffs or something that caught their imagination. Those are the inventive, creative folks that started either spin-off companies that in some way interfaced with their former jobs or went in another direction that was more congruent with who they most truly were at their best. Something which, if you come to know me better, you will hear referred to as structural well-formedness. Who you most are precedes what you are most inclined to do, which is referred to as functional well-formedness. Okay? Function always follows form. And so this often occurs in relation to stress. Those worried about the economy seek out others who also feel pretty bad so that way they can form a large worry bubble. However, pothole number 3. Group stressing doesn't hold water. Keep your bubbles in the bath. Okay, the fourth of 5 most commonly made mistakes in trying to eliminate stress, I call giving it away to someone we love. How many times have you come across someone who's experiencing the same real-world phenomena as you are, and yet seems to be handling it elegantly, gracefully, with ease? Peace of mind. This is definitely not acceptable, right? I mean, why should you be the only one who's going bonkers over the economy, traffic, the kids, bills, your sex life, that of other people you read about in a magazine, and so on? And so you might be inclined to assign blame or infect, so to speak, that person with what you've got. Why not? Some common phrases of this genre that come to mind are, "How can you be so calm about this?" Translation: of course, now this person's not going to be, because I'm going to make sure that I give her a dose of what I'm feeling. Or how about, "Don't you care about what's going on?" Translation: so caring becomes equated with twisting your insides into a pretzel. It's so easy for you since you don't have to fill in the blank. And now we're into justifying stress based on difficulty level. Sort of like the Olympics. Envision a long conference table, right, with people from different countries holding up point cards based on justifiability of stress. 8, 8.5, 7, 9, 9.5. Come on now. Pothole number 4. Save your loved ones. Give it away to the Salvation Army. Okay, and finally, number 5 of 5 of the most commonly made mistakes in trying to eliminate stress, I call getting Socratic, as in Socrates. When stressed, there are those that will turn to self-help books containing advice for getting rid of stress, utilizing such methods as self-talk and thought-stopping. Thought-stopping is one of my favorites. That hurts like you wouldn't believe if you snap the rubber band hard. What you do is you put a rubber band around your wrist, and then every time you have a negative thought, you snap it. Well, this tends to really get people angered, so to speak. And this is the idea that you really want to try to avoid, because after all, when you're stressed, you don't want to couple that with more anger. So putting this rubber band around your wrist or reading books to try to talk yourself out of something creates a kind of paradox. And by the way, if the thought stopping doesn't work, there's always waterboarding. And if all seems lost, maybe Dick Cheney is still available for consults. The paradox, of course, in doing this is trying to talk yourself out of something, stress, you are again first experiencing. Then any intervention you apply only can be in relation to what is present, namely stress. This as opposed to not having it at all. What does that mean? Stay tuned. An interesting analogy might be breathing. Let's assume you became worried that when you went to bed, you might experience labored breathing, or you may forget to breathe altogether, or stop. There are people who actually worry about that. That's a serious condition. And so you try to talk yourself out of that kind of stuff, that it's all nonsense. Then anything you say to yourself will conjure up still, "My breathing is all messed up," or it will be. See the concept here? It's the same thing with stress. In trying to talk yourself out of it or read about it being eliminated, you will likely have exacerbated it. And so pothole number 5, and I love this one, verbal behavior is just a lot of talk. So just what can you do to dis-stress? How do you not have it in a way that's different from the 5 what I call mistakes that people typically make? Take care and have a great day, and remember to think positive for a change. This is Dr. Andy Green. So long for now.